Hello everyone, Pager here with CineMilled. Excited to be here today because today I get to launch our brand new product line, CineRags. Drop-in muslin replacement for your Aputure products. These new Aputure LED lighting fixtures are so powerful. And one day I was shooting something, I was getting ready to light something, and I realized my light was at like 10% or less. So I'm sure many of you have been in that situation also. Even with something like a 300D, you probably running that at 10% or 20% in some situations. And so it sort of dawned on me, there's no reason why I can't use that extra horsepower that all these great new Aputure LED lights have and push through some thicker diffusion. Now, in Hollywood, this usually means muslin. Most of you, like me, have been using the two diffusion fabrics that come with most of the Aputure Light products. And they do a great job. They're a little plasticky, they can be a little noisy in some windy situations, but otherwise they do a pretty good job. Let's talk about muslin. So muslin is a maybe not so secret weapon of top Hollywood cinematographers. It's a very thick fabric, but it's a fabric. It doesn't make any noise. It's a heavy fabric, and it does come in two flavors. It comes in unbleached right here, which is kind of yellow, and a bleached variety, which is a whiter color temperature. Especially the unbleached variety, it's a warmer fabric. It's very organic. I mean, quite literally, it's a fabric, right? It's an organic texture. It gives casts this really nice warm glow over the skin. So this is what really makes it a very popular tool for Hollywood cinematographers. So I really wanted to be able to bring this tool to everybody that uses Aputure products. So that's really what CineRags is all about. We want to bring the tools that we use in Hollywood to your Aputure products. And it's really great to have this extra option that just drops in, that has Velcro on the corners, that has a pull tab like I'm going to show here in a second, to your arsenal. You already have the light, you already have the umbrella or softbox, and now all you need is a nice, quick and easy, high quality drop-in replacement option for when you go to set up your lights for your next shoot. Now, going forward, you'll have your 1 and 2 stop diffusions from Aputure that came with your kit, but you now can also have the option of having unbleached and bleached muslin as something for you to try out to see if it fits what you're shooting. And I think you'll come to find out it will be your new favorite tool. So CineRags are made right here in Los Angeles, just like our other CineMilled products. It is a nice small family business that I'm very proud to be doing business with. Therefore, they have really high quality sewing. We took the fabric all the way up and over the Velcro so that once it's in the softbox, you actually have muslin material reflecting back out. We have a 1-inch Velcro on the back side, and I added this little pull tab to make for easy removal and replacement. So let's go ahead and change this one right here. So you'll notice right here I have an Aputure LightDome 150. So we will have sizes in bleached and unbleached for the 150 dome. And then we also have here the LightDome 2. And I'm actually going to go ahead right now and demonstrate to you how the pull tab works. So you just all right. And there you have it. Nice tight fit because we pre-wash and we pre-shrink the fabric before we sew it. And so we can ensure a really good fitting final product. So besides the 150 and the LightDome 2, we will be coming out with muslin options for all the different Aputure light boxes. So you see here the 60 by 90, right? So we do have plans to expand to other manufacturers' light boxes, but for now, because Aputure is what I use on a daily basis, this is where a lot of my products come from. I use the stuff, I feel a desire or a need to make something, and I make it. So that's how these products come about. They come from a desire of something that I want to use or utilize when I'm doing my work. So yeah, so we'll start with these two Aputure light domes right here, and then probably expand to some of the other ones, and then further down the line, even other brands like Chimera possibly, and some airy lights. All right, let's get into a little bit of the tech side of this product. And I'm sure you guys are asking yourselves, what's the color temperature of the unbleached, of the bleach, especially in comparison to what I already have, which is the Aputure diffusions. And so with the help of my assistant here, I was able to set up a test scenario. So I put the light 6 feet away from her. I got my light meter and I got my spectrometer, and I mounted them on a tripod so that they wouldn't move, so the distance wouldn't change. And I did a series of comparative tests, right? So couple important things to note when you get your CineRag and you start using it. Until you have a spectrometer, this is something that's really hard for you to notice with your bare eyes, which is the farther away you get from your light, the color reading will change. So all the tests that I did that I'll post up the results, those were all done at 6 feet of distance, right? Which I think is probably a most common use distance for some of these light boxes. Another important thing I discovered is that Aputure calls their diffusion fabrics one stop and two stop. Now in my tests, with my testing, maybe you're going to get different results. What I found is that it is not that cut and dry. It's not one stop and it's not two stop, right? It's somewhere in between there. And then so our fabric is a little thicker than the two-stop fabric. So I would probably call our fabric closer to a two-stop fabric. The two-stop fabric that Aputure makes is closer to like a 1.5 or something like that. So that's an important thing for you to keep in mind. So the muslin is thicker, right? You'll need a little bit more light power to push through it than your typical diffusion that comes from Aputure. With my spectrometer, one thing that was very clear to me is, not surprisingly, anything that you put in front of the light will affect its color temperature, right? So the included Aputure fabric, right, the one stop and the two stop, will change the color temperature of that light, right? Probably with age as well, or how dirty it gets. And so the unbleached muslin that we make, the unbleached CineRags right here, this is the one. As you can see here, it looks pretty white, but it's not. It does warm up the color temperature a little bit, right, over the Aputure fabrics, which in my book is exactly why you want to use the muslin, right? It does really interesting things to skin tone, right? Obviously, with a warmer light, you get a little bit more of that yellow sort of color, right? It makes people's skin look a little healthier, makes it look a little glowy. So maybe you don't want to be as heavy as the unbleached muslin, right? As you can see here, the unbleached muslin is, to the visible eye, very yellow, right? So this will warm up the light to around 4,500. You'll see in my test results. But personally, I know that I'm going to be using the unbleached muslin for a lot of shots that I put people in front of the camera. So I really, through my testing, I really like what it does to the skin tone. Now you don't have to take my word for it. I encourage you, pick up some CineRags, put them on your light, and do some tests. Shoot, if you have a significant other that you can shoot some tests with, you will see the difference that you will get in the visual difference in the skin tone when you have your camera at 5600 and then your light is, with the use of muslin, is warmed up a tad. In my opinion, it really does wonders to the skin and skin tone. So to me, that is the biggest reason why I would want to use CineRags, why I would want to use muslin, right? So the unbleached warms it up a lot, right? 4,500 from 5,600. So the bleached version could be a really interesting half step, right? So anyways, it's nice to have options. I know that I would really like to have both options in my kit at all times. Somebody sits down in front of my camera, I'm starting to light. Let's try the unbleached. Oh, that's too much. Let's try the bleached. Oh, that's perfect. You could even try the two-stop aperture fabric. Well, let's go back to the to the bleached. So and I think over time you're going to start to have your preference. Another thing you can do, especially if you have the 150 version, as you can tell, it is really enormous, is actually use it as a bounce. You can use muslin as a bounce. This is something that we do quite often. And with the 150, you have quite a bit of fabric that you can lay over something, shoot a spotlight into, and create a really nice, beautiful bounce light off of that muslin. So again, really good to have that option. All right, guys, well, that's a wrap for now. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm really excited about this CineRags product line we're launching. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna take it, but for now we got the 150 dome and the LightDome 2, which are the two that I own, and so that's why I started there. But give us some feedback. If you have a light box that you use a lot and you would love a drop-in replacement just like this for that light box, let us know. Maybe it's this light box right here, right? Maybe it's a Chimera light box that you've been using for a long time. I'm frankly surprised there isn't anybody offering doing this before. So I'm excited to bring this option to all the filmmakers out there, all my brothers and sisters filmmakers. And yeah, all right. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.